Good day to get exercise today.
The doctor said no more physical therapy, that walking is the best physical
Mhm.
therapy that I can do for for hip replacements. So all's good.
Hey,
Beautiful.
Diane, nice to see you.
Hi, Jane Marie, how are you?
Good, good.
Yeah, I think I saw the live stream started. Is that
Live
correct?
stream has begun.
Awesome. All right, I'll kick it off. So thanks everyone for joining. Tonight we're going to be covering SAPO, Street Activity Permits Office Festival Applications. I wasn't able to join this last year, so this is kind of new for me. So I'll hand it over to Josephine to give the baseline understanding of what this process is for and what we are here to do in terms of approvals.
Okay, thank you so much, Jack. So tonight is our annual review of festival applications at Community Board 10. Just as a refresher for those at home and new board members who may not be familiar, but the Street Activity Permit Office, and they have an acronym called SAPO, is part of the Mayor's Office of Citywide Event Coordination and Management. SAPO is responsible for issuing permits for street festivals, block parties, farmer markets, and other events that take place on New York City streets, sidewalks, and plazas. A street festival is a community-sponsored event which requires the closure of one or more city blocks for one or more days. All festivals are required to obtain a permit from SAPO. As part of the permitting process, SAPO will contact other pertinent agencies and community boards for their recommendation. As with SLA applications, the community board's recommendation is advisory only, although the board may make recommendations and stipulations before granting an approval. If the community board denies an applicant, the applicant may appeal to SAPO, and SAPO has the authority to approve the permit. If a community board denies an applicant and the applicant does not appear within 5 days, the SAPO will uphold the denial. And Community Board 10, typically either in the month of February or March, we review all of the festivals that take place in our community. They're really wonderful, events that have been around, for the most part, a very long time, for many years. And this is our opportunity to review the applications, if anything's new or changed, and also give the opportunity to the public if they would like to attend and provide feedback on the applications as public notice is provided on each applications. So the first on the agenda here is the Fifth Avenue Festival, which will take place on June 2nd, 2024. It's event ID number 748538. And we have tonight both Liz Lovejoy, who is the executive director of the Fifth Avenue Bid, and Chip Cafaro, who I think you're going to be presenting tonight, just sharing Fifth Avenue, anything new or changed. I have here that the event will take place on Fifth Avenue between Bay Ridge Avenue and 85th Street. The event is 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. with setup time 8 a.m. and breakdown 8 p.m. And I'm going to, before I go through the approved stipulations, I'm going to turn it over to you, Chip.
Not much to say. All I can tell you is last year was so successful. We had a great crowd. Well, the weather has a lot to do with it. Great crowd, no problems. Set up on time, shut down on time. And if it's not broken, I'm not going to change it. So we plan on doing it. We plan on doing everything again, basically the same way. We'll probably just have our center stage on 80th Street. No, wait, we have it. 77th Street, as in the past. And the same basic activity. Rides will be down around 72nd Street. We eliminated the rides from 81st Street, worked out last year very nicely. And we've just been increasing in the quality and quantity of outside vendors. Fifth Avenue cut back on a lot of them over the years. And we built back. I don't even have one sock vendor anymore. That's rare. But everything is pretty much going to be the same. as it has been in the past.
Okay, so if it's okay with you, Jack, I'll just review the stipulations that we approved last year and just go through them really quickly. NYPD amplified sound permit will end at 6 p.m. That's the end of the permit. There was no complaints or any issues that we received in the district office last year. Amplified sound permits will be issued at the discretion of the Fifth Avenue Business Improvement District, and all applicants must adhere to the New York City noise code regulations and NYPD rules relating to sound permits. A list of permits must be provided to Community Board 10. DSNY must begin cleaning after the event closes at 6 p.m. All SLA licensed premises applying for a one-day outdoor use must submit a signed letter notifying Community Board 10 that their SLA licensed premise received the SAPO festival rules as well as the stipulation agreement with Community Board 10 and will comply with rules during the event. Violations of SAPO rules will be subject to enforcement. Establishments that do not obtain a one-day SLA permit will not be permitted to serve alcohol. Festival marshals must report any vendor or business selling alcohol to NYPD for enforcement. Distribution of festival regulations to participating vendors and merchants, and the Fifth Avenue Bid, a sponsor, will attend an interagency meeting organized by Community Board 10 with the leadership of NYPD, DSNY, SLA, SAPO, and DOT. That's good?
Good job.
Okay, good.
Not your first time, right?
No. And I'm happy to report, oh, Steve is on camera. I'm happy to report that, you know, we did review last year's correspondence and there were no issues, only really positive feedback. So Jack, I'll turn it back over to you. So we need a vote, a motion, and a vote.
Fantastic. I think we'll open up for discussion first. If anyone has any questions, comments during this time, feel free to raise your hand. Okay. Seeing no discussion, do we have a do we have a motion for this vote keeping the stipulations from 2023 onto 2024? I think I saw Steve's hand first.
Yeah.
Or do we have
absolutely.
do we have a second? All right, I see Doris's hand. Okay, all right. I think we can call this votes then. All in favor. So all in favor of proposing approving this application with these stipulations to be approved at the committee board meeting next Monday.
I see Dean Racinia's hand up. Oh, is that for a vote? Sorry, Dean.
Yes. All right, and that's okay. So yeah, all in favor?
In favor.
In favor.
Unanimous.
All right, thank you so much. Next, we have the Holy Cross Greek Cultural Festival.
Okay, so Holy Cross Greek Cultural Festival application was submitted for September 19th through the 22nd. It's event ID 753572, Ridge Boulevard between 84th Street and 6th Street from 10 a.m. To 10 p.m. I'm going to stop my share because we have with us representatives from Holy Cross. If you want to just introduce yourselves and share if everything's the same, if there's any changes to last year's application.
Or Demetrius Kalamaris, parish council member and also a member of the bid. So I didn't chime in on that one because Chip did a great job. And I think we have our festival chairman, George Crucible, with us. My understanding is, George, everything's the same as last year.
Except the weather. You're gonna have good weather.
Yeah, get the weather or get a vote, have it
You'll
on.
have good weather this year. I put on for it.
I'm sorry, did you?
That's it.
I think
That's
it's the
it?
same, it's gonna be around the same parameters as last year.
Same parameters as last year, okay.
Hopefully no pens.
I'm going to just share my screen. So last year, Community Board 10 voted to approve the Holy Cross Greek Cultural Festival with the following stipulation: that music will end by 10 p.m. and that all rides will be removed by Tuesday following the festival. Jack, I'll turn it back over to you.
Great, and I'll turn it back to the committee. Any discussions? Okay, seeing none, do I have a motion for the stipulation, keep carrying the 2023 stipulation that the music will end at 10 p.m. and to remove all rides by the following Tuesday. I don't see any raised hands. Okay, there we go. Thank you. Thanks, Steve. And I think, Doris, you seconded. So all in favor, please raise your hand.
In favor.
Great. All in favor. All right. Unanimous.
Perfect. Thank you so much. You're welcome to stay.
We've got a parish council meeting.
You have a
7:30.
okay, you have a parish council meeting. You're welcome. See your next meeting.
In regards to all the members.
Thank
some
you.
Familiar faces. Nice to see them.
Thank you.
Take care. Thank you.
Okay,
Thanks
so
so much.
next we have the Third Avenue Festival. So the Third Avenue Festival for 2024 is scheduled to take place on September 29th. The event ID is 752763. This will happen along Third Avenue between Bay Ridge Avenue and 94th Street from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. with time at 8 a.m. and breakdown at 8 p.m. And I'm going to hand it over to Chip before we go through. Is it Chip or Janine?
I think Janine is on too, but I would be the one in charge of the festival for my 47th year. So last year was the 50th annual event, which we built up a little bit more. This is the 51st year for it.
Wow.
So I missed the first 4 years. I wasn't running it, but I was there for it. I wasn't happy with certain things. We did see some problems with sound from, that's a big issue, sound. In my opinion, sound controls the avenue. Sound keeps going after 6 o'clock, the party keeps going.
Right.
So I'm putting on more marshals specifically for this festival. So, and I'm gonna work with the police also to enforce that the sound goes off at 6 o'clock. You extend that for a half hour, you start to run into trouble.
Right.
All right. So yeah, that's the problem. That's the thing that the marshals. I also have like 18 marshals for it. Who throughout the day they wander around. Everybody says they don't do anything. Well, they're doing something.
Oh, I see them out there working.
They're watching. They're watching, especially the sound and the crowds and everything. Third Avenue does get more crowded than Fifth Avenue does. So it's a little bit harder to handle. We did get rid of some of the problems that we've had, some of the people that we had problems with in the past. Well, the big one was Lobo Loco.
Right.
That was a big problem on.
Oh, with sound, yeah.
Yes, and I told you they'd be gone by the end of the year. They're gone.
They're
They're
out of
gone.
business.
They're gone. That was a big problem. That was a problem at the strolls and the festival. But we do have some new restaurants going to be opening. Actually, there's quite a few new restaurants going to be opening on the avenue. But I will be visiting them. I've already visited some of the new ones and discussed everything with them. There's a lot of new businesses. I personally go and visit those new businesses and try to help them in preparing and setting up for it to get the most out of it. I mean, it's the biggest day. One thing that a big part of it was the low end, 69th Street to 75th Street was quiet, not a lot of merchants participating. We do have a School of Rock, which is opening up on 69th Street and 3rd Avenue. I've spoken with them. We're going to do a big performance down there. I'm shifting the rides down one block further to build up that end a little bit more and spread it out. Other than that, it's just a matter of making sure that there's no duplication of sound permits on the same block. If there is 2 sound permits, they've got to alternate the hours. And that's something that we monitor and watch. And that's, I found, is the way to control the crowd. You know, the music, if it's too loud, I've turned off music. I've pulled plugs over the year. That's where I lose friends.
Right.
But, you know, that's what keeps it safe. And I got to say that all these years, we've never had any major problem during the event. So
again, last year too, we had no complaints.
No big problems at all. And
Just
again,
just a clarification question. What does it mean to circulate the sound permits?
To do what?
Oh, to circulate the sound permit.
Oh, if there's 2 people that request sound permits, I would rotate them, that they get specific hours that they can play. So one goes from 1 to 3, the other one goes from 3 to 5. And then, you know,
Right.
like that, I give them specific hours and we monitor it so that you don't have two bands or two sound permits operating. That causes chaos, you know. And that's been a problem that we've had. We had that problem more with the strolls.
The strolls and
The strolls
I know we're
also,
not right looking at the strolls tonight, but that was an issue that was raised with the strolls.
yeah,
And the board had suggested having just one sound permit
Right.
issued per block.
right.
That's more challenging with the festival, I understand, so alternating it has been the way that the Third Avenue Merchants is handled, so if one restaurant, sometimes we have 2 or 3 restaurants that want to have their own music, and one has a specific amount of time and then the other, so it's been a really good job, I think, in alternating and scheduling the performances.
Well, that's the number one issue that we look for. The alcohol, if we see alcohol being abused, that's not my marshal's job, except to inform the police.
Right, yes.
You know, if we feel that way, we tell the police and they move in on any
Disorderly
abuse of
Right.
alcohol outside. The other problem we have with the sound is there's so many restaurants and places that want to have sound that we may issue a sound permit to one place on the block. Another store will have their sound inside, but at the door blasting out. That doesn't work either.
Right.
You know, so that's what we do. That's the work all day long is going. That's where I'm running back and forth. But I have the marshals first of all, I have marshals that have been with me for more than 20 years. They know what they're doing. I'm getting too old to run back and forth. Who's laughing? Is that Don? I figured
Doris.
that. Okay. But
I've known you a long time, Chip. I can laugh.
you know, I can still walk, thank God. Run back and forth, dude. That's how I keep so slim, you know, anyway. But that's not my main issue is the sound and the alcohol.
Yeah, there's kiddie rides also.
Yeah, the rides, well, now we're gonna have them down by 69 Ovington. Ovington Avenue will have rides. I put rides in the middle by the phone company on 77th Street, a small group of that. And then another group on the end. That's to disperse the crowd. Well, that's worked over the years. You know, people don't want, if you take that one out of the middle, which I've had requests to eliminate that from some people, then people who come to it have to walk 15 blocks or 10 blocks with carriages, with kids and stuff like that to get to those activities. The thing that I've eliminated, which I had the opportunity to bring back at pony rides, I don't want to bring them back because we've had problems with it. And that involves the Board of Health.
The animals on it.
Yeah, and we do bring in a lot of outside food vendors. You would think that with all the restaurants, and now nobody complains to me either that we're bringing it. But that's what makes it a festival. If I eliminate sausage stands, if I get rid of Lucy sausage, it's not a festival,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
People come, in Bay Ridge, I would say the majority of Bay Ridgeites would rather eat from a restaurant than from a food stand. But the food vendors, first of all, bring in 3 times the amount of money they pay. They pay $450 for a food stand, whereas the merchant's only paying $150. So that brings the revenue in, because it cost about $18,000 to produce the event totally. So we have to raise that money from vendors, and you know, vendors have disappeared over the years, especially after COVID. A lot of vendors have dropped out. And that day, there's a lot of other major events going on that same day. Atlantic Antic. Everybody says we're up against Atlantic. We've been up against Atlantic Antic for at least the past 20 years, almost always on the same day. But it's a different element, a different crowd. But I already started getting phone calls. I got 6:30 this morning. I got a phone call from a vendor. You know, they're already looking for it. And
There we go.
the vendors do very well on 3rd Avenue, and they do very well on 5th Avenue.
They're gonna be dancing also on the
Dancing, I stopped dancing. No, they actually the dance
belly
studios.
dancing and all
Yeah,
that.
4 dance studios on the avenue. That brings the crowd.
Oh,
You know,
yes.
if they've got, even if they have 50 students, that's 50 parents, grandparents, uncles, aunts that come and spend the day there. So that's the big advantage on the avenue. That karate, martial arts, you know, those bring the crowds, and usually well-behaved crowds too. you know, the type of crowds we want. I've always tried to keep it family oriented, you know. I bring my whole family. I had the whole family last year there, 10 grandkids.
Wow, that's great.
And I have
Hey,
number
Chip.
11. So, and yes,
Yeah, it's Steve. I just wanted to let you know that with the new zoning, they can have the pony rides inside. So,
what do you say?
He said the new zone changes, you can have the pony rides inside.
Steve doesn't have his own.
No, no, he doesn't.
Oh, okay.
That was George who laughed hysterically.
The
Thank
other
you,
thing
Steve.
I would say, nonprofits. We bring in more nonprofit organizations for this festival, I think, than any other festival. I've been told from SAP and everything. And none of the other festivals throughout the city focus on nonprofits. The fee is, I think, $50 they charge for it and all. But I go after, I have a list of all the nonprofits. Every nonprofit organization is welcome to participate. Last year, I had 3 different Boy Scout troops
Nice.
down on 3rd Avenue and all. And they add to it because they also bring in people that spend the day there. And it makes it more family oriented. I'm big on family, you know.
And the politicians too.
Yeah.
Chip, Steve again.
Politicians, political, they pay for a space, you know, but they're all checked, and we have no problem with that, you know. Yeah, I make sure I don't put where I place them. They can't be. I don't want that. That's a fighting issue, you know. But
No, okay.
but we do get a lot of that, and a lot of medical issues. I have a few places now want to do things outside, doing blood samples, blood pressure,
Blood
and
pressure, yeah.
all kinds of stuff like
Yes.
that, which makes it more attractive and just keep it strolling. I don't want to say I don't want it to get too crowded, because you want it crowded. You know?
Yeah.
It can only get so crowded. People can only park them so far. And I monitor it. There's a lot of free raffles. They have to be free, you know. But I have a few people that I check with to see where the crowd's coming from. We're still getting a lot of Staten Islanders, which are mostly former Bay Ridgeites anyway,
Mhm.
you know.
Mhm.
So we do get a crowd from Staten Island and from all over Brooklyn, you know. So it's been very successful for 51 years.
Chip, have you seen any fall off in it?
I'm sorry, what?
Have you seen any fall off?
Fall off
As-
in the either the participation by the patrons or by the vendors themselves?
Big time fall off. A lot less merchants participating, but this year's there was 52 food huts outside all these years since COVID. You had the food huts outside.
Ah.
They didn't want to pay most of them. Why would they pay? Because they already got their space
Right.
outside. Well, you know, we got a bunch of them that would, you know, it's $175 dues.
Right.
You know, they don't want to pay. None of that goes to me, you know. I go after them because they should contribute to the community, pay for Christmas lights, all the expenses. So now the board is getting more active. The Merchants Association has gotten a little bit bigger. There are more people on the board. They're going after those people. Those people that had the booths outside now will pay for their space outside, you know. So that, because last year the revenue went down tremendously from the merchants end. And it did drop also on outside vendors also. But hopefully that'll build up again this year. We kept the prices the same to outside vendors for the past 8 years.
Wow.
So, you know, we're very competitive with other events. And so, but I see it all working out, so it shouldn't be a problem.
Okay.
But feel free to send any nonprofit organization that wants to participate. They can get directly in touch with me, or Josephine will give out my number, and just tell them to call me and I'll get them a space.
Okay, great. Janine is also on, Janine Condon from the 3rd Avenue Merchants. I don't know if you want to say a quick hello, Janine, or have anything to add?
No, I think Chip said it all. Hi, everyone.
Hi, Judy.
Hi, Chip.
So I think, Josephine, if we can cover the stipulations last year. that'd be great.
Yeah, so these are the same stipulations as Fifth Avenue. Do you want me to read through them again, or
These are exactly the same as Fifth Avenue.
sorry, exactly, yeah, exactly the
The
same.
Devon is a Ramadan lesson.
NYPD amplified sound to end at 6 p.m. Amplified sound permits will be issued at the discretion of the Third Avenue merchants, and all applicants must adhere to New York City noise regulations and NYPD rules relating to sound permits. A list of permits must be provided to Community Board 10. DSNY must begin cleaning at 6 p.m. You know what? Now that I'm reading this, Chip, I think we changed this last year. Cleaning must commence at Bay Ridge Avenue. You decide where the cleaning commences
Yeah.
each year.
It usually starts down the other end. It depends on the layout. The way I have it figured right now, I want it to be busy down 69th Street. So we'll probably start up on the 90s
Okay.
again.
So, I mean, how about we change that to DSNY? We'll begin cleaning at 6 p.m. at the discretion of the Third Avenue.
We never started. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
It's a 4 to 12 shift. They get there for 6 o'clock. I meet them, but the vendors can keep going till 6. So we have to give them time to close
Yeah,
down.
I think what
We don't start moving till
Right.
6:30, 7 o'clock.
I think we say the process begins at 6
Yes,
p.m.
yes,
Where you
process
have to,
begins
where you
at
start
6.
telling everyone they have to break down.
Right.
That's really the
And
goal.
no matter how we do it, we're always finished between 8:45 and 9 o'clock.
Right.
9 o'clock is the latest we've ever gone.
Room.
And the avenue is cleaner than it normally is.
The brooms come out to make out.
Yep, the rooms, the whole system.
Okay,
Seven.
I'll keep reading. So all SLA licensed premises applying for one-day outdoor use must submit a signed letter notifying Community Board 10 that their SLA licensed premise received the Staple Festival rules as well as the stipulation agreement with Community Board 10 and will comply with all rules during both events. Violations of SAPO rules will be subject to enforcement. In addition, the Community Board will submit complaints of rule violations with documentation to SAPO, NYPD, and SLA. Establishments that do not obtain a one-day SLA permit will not be permitted to serve alcohol. Festival marshals must report any vendor or business selling alcohol to NYPD for enforcement. Distribution of festival regulations to all participating vendors and merchants, and the Third Avenue merchants as sponsor will attend an interagency meeting, which we do each year, organized by CB10 with the leadership of the NYPD, DSNY, SLA, SAPO, and DOT.
Fantastic. Okay. Do we have any discussion? Okay, I feel like I just got a sneak peek into a masterclass at organizing a festival. So that's fun. Do I have do I have a motion on the floor for keeping these stipulations? All right, I see Steve. Do I have a second? Okay. All right. All in favor, raise your hand. All right. I see unanimous consent here. Okay, cool. Approved. All right. So I guess the next steps here, I will be presenting these three to the committee board, wider committee board. We'll need a second on the floor to propose that, but with the same stipulations as the previous year. And that'll be next Monday.
That's correct.
All right, Josephine, do we have anything else on the agenda?
Let's see. Hold on one second. I think there was one more. PS 185 had submitted a cultural fair on May 17th, 2024. Ridge Boulevard between 87th and 88th Street from 3 to 8 p.m. This is the first time the fair will be held outside the school. They'll have food trucks, musical performances, crafts, and other family activities. I'm not sure if we have someone from PS 185 here.
You just said 87 to 88.
Yeah,
Yeah. Between 80 and
87. Oh, okay, maybe that was a mistake.
Unless they plan on doing it.
It's probably 80, it's probably 86 and 87.
Yeah, because that's a residential block, 80.
Yeah, and right now they have the do have an open street permit from 86 to 87th Street. Which they were using during construction, but they really haven't had to use. The construction pretty much has been done. But I don't see anyone here from. Is anyone here from PS 185? I don't see anyone, Jack. So I have to check. I don't know if we want to make a recommendation tonight or if we want to wait and hold off till next month so we can get a little bit more information on the event.
I think that's fine. I saw the date was in mid-May. So that should still be enough time for them to get approved. Is there
Okay.
if there's any details, I guess like in the application process, what kind of information do they provide to us to get these approved?
Yes. So what we see on our end, when applications are made, we see basic information. And that is the date, time, manner of the event. It's very limited. So the information that I showed on the screen is pretty much what we see on our end. And typically the applicants will tell us a little bit more. It seemed pretty straightforward to me. It's just the first time that they're having it. And we like to meet, especially one-day festivals or one-day events. And that's been community board policy to come and speak before the board, just to let us know before we submit our advisory opinion. Steve,
May I recommend that we be in touch with them before next month, though, and remind them?
Yeah, I'll make sure, I'll go back and look. I know Dorothy sent out invitations. I'm not sure what happened. They may have, written to us. But I'll definitely provide an update for you next month.
Okay.
All right. Do we have any other applications?
Nope, that's all for tonight. That's it. We're very
Great, awesome. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I see Steve. Okay,
Okay,
very
there we
good.
go.
Thank you all. All right,
Thank
have
you.
a good night.
Thank you so
Bye.
much.
Thank you.